I have recently done a deep dive into morning rooms and just learning all about them. So today I am looking forward to sharing my mini morning room makeover, because by the end of this video, this room will not look like this anymore. And I also wanted to share a couple of subscribers that have sent in their morning room pictures and just a couple of things that they had to say about theirs, as well as a couple of comments that were left that I wanted to feature. But I especially wanted to share just my overall plan for this space and what I would like to do. And then also the fact that many of us have a modern day morning room, but we don't know it yet. And also I wanted to share a lesson from the morning room. Welcome back, ladies. I have done so much research recently about this space. Now, one of my subscribers, her screen name or username is called the Soft Sophisticate. She left me this comment and I mentioned it in a previous video, and it just really changed the way that I wanted to utilize this space. And so I am looking forward to adding a couple of things to this space that I didn't really know at first when I got this space back to use for myself. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in it, but I did know I wanted a desk in here and to kind of use it as an office, but we're not calling this an office anymore. Using the term morning room just sounds so beautiful to me and lovely, and I don't know why I never heard the term before, but it was just very interesting to learn about. So back in the 18th and 19th century, this was more of a space that was for the lady of the house. She would, just write her plans for the day in there and just kind of gather her thoughts for the day and just wake up in that space. And usually it was eastward facing. It got a lot of sunshine in it. Does this is this starting to sound familiar to you? Well, this is actually what today would be called a breakfast nook. And it's also a space where you would have informal meals, maybe breakfast, of course. Maybe you just want to go to that space to sit down and gather your thoughts even throughout the day. It's not even something that you only have to be in the morning. And it's not just for the lady of the house, but it really is that space that she can make her own and just, bring in all of those great feelings within that space. So I do know that a lot of people would like to make that room very cheerful. And my subscriber, the Soft Sophisticate, said, she encouraged me to paint this room like a yellow, and just, even though it wasn't eastward facing, it would just, liven up the space and, make it a happy space. Well, I've thought about it, but I'm not going to be painting these walls yellow. I just love the blue too much in here. And it's actually like a grayish blue. And in my research, I also found that in the Bridgerton, I guess, show or movie or whatever it is, I haven't seen it yet, but this came up in my research, and it was a picture of their morning room, and it was so beautiful. I have been inspired by this space. I don't know exactly how it will come out later on, but I was already using these colors within here. But I just feel like watching movies really gives me confidence to just not hold back when it comes to decorating spaces. I feel like so many people hold back in their decor because they're afraid of, it looking dated or this or that or whatever kind of things we are afraid of decorating, or like it won't work out or something. This is a space that I just feel we can really show just our personality in, and it's encouraged to do so, and just a space, it's like your happy place, right? So anyway, I really was inspired by the Bridgerton picture of the morning room, which I'm going to share with you. But I also have a couple of pictures from my subscribers, and I wanted to share what they have to say about their morning rooms. This first picture comes from Cami. She wrote that my recent request for viewers to share pictures of their morning room really resonated with her. She said, as I found so much inspiration in your approach to creating a lovely and inviting home. Enclosed in this email is a snapshot of my own morning room, which I've decorated with furniture inspired by the elegant Victorian curves you often feature in your videos. Your guidance on embracing femininity, grace, and the joy of being the lady of the house has truly made a difference in my life. Your example has taught me how to appreciate the beauty in every moment and not to fret over the occasional messes that come with daily life. I want to thank you for consistently providing content that is not only beautiful, but also practical and useful. Your dedication to your craft and your viewers shines through in every video, and it's clear that you put your heart and soul into each creation. Your channel has added so much value to my life, and I am grateful for the opportunity to be part of your community. With warmest regards, Cami. Cami, this space is so beautiful, and I really like what you've done with it. And it's just warm and inviting, and your chairs are really beautiful too. So thank you so much for your encouraging words, and also for sending in this picture. I think that it's such a lovely place to just go to in the morning and enjoy all of the things that you would do there. The next picture comes from Mariah. She says, "Good morning, Nikki. Here is my morning room today. I live in Montana, which has been quite cold for many months. March is a strange month here, as some days are spring and some days are still very much winter. This morning was nearly 40 degrees and warm enough with a sweater and a quilt for me to sit and watch the sun come up. I like to drink my coffee, read my devotions and Bible, and plan for the coming day. While I do not have a proper morning room, I would love to have one someday. I see a warm-toned, feminine room with a pink velvet chair, potted plants, lots of windows, and sunlight streaming through, making a square on the floor for my dog to nap in. Thanks for inspiring me and reminding me how much I love being a woman, a wife, and a mother. Hugs, Mariah in Montana." Mariah, thank you so much for sending this, and I understand what you mean about not having a proper space for a morning room, but I love that you are making the most of your space. This is what it is all about, just finding that contentment, and no matter what area you have, what kind of home you have, you are able to make any space that you deem a morning room. So I wanted to also just read a couple of other things. In that last video that I did where I touched on morning rooms, I did that as well. So I have another article, or just, something that I found online to share with you. Actually, a couple. And maybe these are both from home builders. So this one, Belinsky Homes, it says, it's important to start your day right, and what better way than in a Belinsky morning room. Here's some information that can turn your good mornings into great ones. First off, what exactly is a morning room? A morning room is usually attached to the kitchen and generally boasts plenty of windows and great natural light. It's the perfect place for casual meals like breakfast or sipping coffee before you start the day. Why would you want a morning room? It gives you an option for eating that isn't the dining room. A formal dining room can sometimes feel too formal. If you want a floor plan that features a formal dining room, make sure you include a morning room for those casual, everyday meals. If you don't want a formal dining room, you can choose a floor plan that offers a single eating space, often referred to as a dining space instead of a dining room. Can a morning room be used for more than meals? Casual dining is the most common use for a morning room, but it's definitely not the only one. With its windows and natural light, a morning room can also act as a sunroom. But my personal favorite way to use this space is by furnishing it as a sitting area, so it can be used when we're entertaining. Whenever we're hosting, I find that people always gravitate to the kitchen, especially if I'm in there preparing food. The morning room allows for conversation to flow free, even while I'm working on a dish. My spouse and I do this in our everyday life too. When one of us is cooking, the other can usually be found in the morning room. You can't always wake up on the right side of the bed, but you can always wake up to a beautiful morning to find... Okay, so I really loved what she had to say about that space. Now let me share with you something else that was written, and this is from Hallmark Home Group. So what is a morning room? One of the most exciting things about buying a new house is being able to design the use of your indoor spaces. Many of today's lifestyles are becoming more home-oriented, inspiring owners to assign special functions to certain areas. One of the latest design trends embraces a popular idea from the Victorian era, the morning room. But what is a morning room? Let our home building experts explain. If you are interested in new construction, okay, we won't go into that. Why do they call it a morning room? The term morning room comes from the 19th century era of interior design. It describes a place where the first sunbeams of daylight would flood the home and the lady of the house would prepare for the day. Today, this can translate to the breakfast nook, dining room, study, solarium, or just about any space that receives sunlight and can be designed to fit your expert preferences for color, texture, and decor. What is a morning room used for? This is a special place in the home you can use every morning for eating breakfast, reading, making phone calls, having online meetings, meditating, planning, and preparing to go about your day. For that matter, this space can be visited at any time of the day, whenever you may need a minute to sit, relax, and gather your thoughts, or just enjoy a bit of downtime. Make it right for you. Your morning room is your happy place, so it should reflect every aspect of what relaxes you and makes you feel at ease. You can choose plenty of plush furniture if you like soft textures, or a sparsely furnished, wide open space with a hardwood floor if yoga is your preferred AM ritual. The function of the space should reflect your intended daily use. So if you're someone who makes to-do lists, so perhaps a desk to sit at and write is an appropriate choice. Decorate to perfection. The lighting you choose can be plentiful, soft and warm with translucent drapes over the windows if you prefer a subtle ambiance. Or you can be stark and minimal, allowing the sunshine to flood through the windows to wake things up once you pull back the drapes. Imagine the walls adorned with the work of your favorite artists and the entire area enhanced by the naturally refreshing presence of indoor flora. A few strategically placed plants can truly liven things up. There are plenty of species that thrive in direct sunlight, such as aloe vera, geraniums, snake plants, and many more. Okay, and then it goes into choosing the best layout, etc. So I think we're getting the picture here of what a morning room is. It's basically today's version of a kitchen nook. But I personally don't have a kitchen nook, but I do want to bring a table in here. Now at first I just wanted it to be very open in here because I have the dogs in here. So I still want a little table, but I want it to be little. It's a small space, so I don't want to overcrowd it, but I want to use it for those things that I plan on using it for. So here are the ways that I want to use my morning room. I definitely want to have a place where I can sit at a desk. So I have this desk in here already. It's, some of those things that I do, like office work, I do like to make lists in here, do some writing, things like that. But I also want a little bistro table in here. So I'm thinking of bringing that bistro table in that I had out front, because I really haven't been using it out front, but for the time being, I want to use what I have before I, make any kind of purchase for this space. And I just want to see how I really do use this space. But having a table in here would be great because I don't always want to sit at a desk. I want to also have a space that's inviting to maybe if one of my kids wants to come in here and eat breakfast, or, just sit and have conversation even with my mom or my husband or any of my kids, and just to have that space available. So definitely my desk and a little bistro set, and then my recliner chair. So I have this blue recliner in our living room area, but I think I want to bring it in here because it's a space that I like to sit in to do a lot of reading. If I am just thinking, it's like my thinking chair, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, he had a thinking chair. I have a thinking chair, and it's my blue recliner for now. And my, like a little stool, because I don't really want to recline in here. I found that I would prefer just to have a stool, something that's already there. And I've been using this room for my dogs because they are they're training in some areas, and I'm not giving them full access to the house anymore. So this has kind of become the dog area as well. So all of these different things that I like to do in my home, and especially while my kids are at school and stuff, and or just even in the morning, just coming in here, I want to be able to cuddle with my dogs. I want to just be in this space. And then I can open this door and allow it to air out and just enjoy the back deck more. I'm constantly going out to see my mom as well. So just overall, it's the perfect morning room for me. And guess what? It's right off of my kitchen. So it all just makes sense. But this is my idea of what I want to do. Probably, I always like to see a kitchen table or, like a kitchen nook table. I like it in front of a window. So I only have one window in here. This isn't a room that has a lot of windows, but having a mirror in here I think is a must to just bring in more light, because otherwise this space could end up feeling a little dark. And then I also open the blinds now and just, have my shears. Sometimes my shears open just a little bit because it allows a little bit more light in. So I'm thinking the bistro set right over in front of the window, my thinking chair back here in the corner, and then this desk. While I always love a desk in front of a window, it is higher than the window, so I'm thinking in this corner over here. And then that way it's not the first thing that I see when I have these doors open, if I have these doors open, and especially if we have company. Like they said, if you're, still putting the finishing touches on your dish or something like that, having a space that is welcoming to people to be able to come in here and just kind of sit down, I think that this is going to just be a wonderful space. So I look forward to doing that. So as I am going to be putting this room together the way that I want it, I wanted to read a wonderful article to you that just really, really made a big impact on me. And I think that you will enjoy it as well. So this came from the Epoch Times in the Life and Tradition section, and the title is "Promise Me You'll Wait for One More Sunrise." Just as I was coming into puberty, just as all the passion of life was getting ready to flood into my body, bringing hormones, dreams for the future, and revelations of the spirit, my mother taught me the most important lesson of my life. She sat down next to me on my bed, signaling this was a mom and me talk, the most serious kind. "There might come a day," she began pensively, "when you feel like you can't go on." I frowned my eyebrows quizzically. "For one reason or another," she continued, "life might seem overwhelming. You might not even want it to go on anymore. If that ever happens, I want you to promise me one thing. My mouth hung open as I listened in rapt attention to this mysterious lesson. I want you to promise that you'll go to bed and wait until morning to see the sunrise. Give it one more sunrise. Things will look different. Things always look different when you wait to see one more sunrise. Promise? I promise, I said. At the time, my young mind couldn't really conceive of what could possibly ever make me feel the way Mom described. But I knew it was important and filed it away in the "if I ever need this, I know where it is" corner of my mind. A breakup with a fiance that came about 12 years later led me to the point of understanding what my mother had taught me years before. I wouldn't have really hurt myself. I knew that, but the pain was so great that I didn't know how I would find the strength to carry on. I fell to my knees in tears and said, "One more sunrise, Ma. I remember I promised." I found that it might even take a few sunrises, but the amazing thing was she was right. Everything does look different the next day. The same problems and hurts might be hanging over us like oppressive storm clouds. But the next day doesn't feel like the end of the world anymore. It feels like life is going to go on, stumblingly, maybe awkwardly at first. But thank God, in all its glory, life does go on. Eventually, you find new love, you make new friends, you feel the wind in your hair and the sun on your face, and you say, "It feels good to be alive."